There's three things that control our state of being. Knowing how to control your state of being, it's going to allow you to take advantage of the opportunities that are afforded to you in your life's experience and in your jiu-jitsu matches and everything else. So what are the three things that control your state of being? Let's go through them. So let's talk about your state of being and gaining some control over it, because if I have control over my state of being, then it allows me to recognize the opportunity that's presented to me, that I'm afforded. It allows you to reduce internal tensions, right? And when you reduce internal tensions, you have more flow, you have more balanced clarity, and you can see more clearly what's going on around you. And that allows you to take advantage of the opportunities in front of you. Okay, so three things that control your state of being. These three things are action, what you do with your body, focus, where you place your attention, and story or meaning, the narrative, the thing that you tell yourself about what's going on. And so let's break these down. So the first one being action, how you act out, what you do with your body. You can tell in a kid. We use this in the kids class. You can tell with a kid, whenever they get frustrated or upset, it's written all over their body. Their face turns sour, right? Their shoulders slump. They lose their posture. If they're crying, their face gets, and it's just written all over their body that what they're experiencing, right? Their body acts out that experience. And so it acts out that emotion, it emotes it, it acts out that feeling. And so, what they're doing with their body, right? It grounds out your experience. And so for the kids, of course, one of the things we have them do, we might have them bite a pencil, right? And that activates the smiling muscles. Or we might have them play a slapping game. So now they're doing something with their body that's active, that's engaging. Or we might ask them to hold their shoulders back, right? Or put their hands on their knees, and sit up straight. And these things get them, their body to their posturing, right, to act out in a way that doesn't tell the same story. Their actions aren't congruent with their internal experience, right? And so what we act out has a huge impact on our state of being. So we experience this in jiu-jitsu, right? If I'm going for an armbar and I miss that armbar, and I tell myself, I failed, I missed the armbar, I suck at jiu-jitsu, it's like, what does my body do? As soon as I miss the armbar, I'm like, oh. And it's like in that moment, I gave up all the opportunity that was there from missing the armbar, because there's always opportunity, which you either get the technique you're going for or you get the response, right, that you need to make the next thing work. So if you don't hit the armbar, it's because there's something else that's going to be available to you. And whoever's able to capitalize on that next thing is going to be advancing. So if you focus on how you're acting, right? If you miss the armbar, hey, no problem. Shrug it off. What's next? That means there's something else here. What am I missing, right? And so acting that out is key. Okay, so that's action. 2, the second thing that controls your state of being is focus, where you place your attention, right? What you focus on. And generally speaking, am I focusing on the positive or the negative in the situation, right? Am I focusing on things that are empowering for me or focus on things that are unempowering for me? One of the ways we do this with the kids is when they're upset, we might ask them, hey, what's your favorite toy you got for your Christmas or your birthday or something? Or what's your favorite TV show? Something that gets to their mind. What's your favorite dish? What's the most exciting game you've ever played with your parents? And to answer that, you'll see they can be hysterically crying. And for a brief moment, when their eyes dart up and they've got to think about that thing, the crying's gone, right? Now they'll come right back to it. I like that. And and they remember they were upset, right? And then they go back to the action and focusing on the unempowering thing. And so we do the same things ourselves. And we do it in jiu-jitsu as well, right? We get so focused on what's he going to do to me, right? What's he going to, and then it pulls us out of our game because we're not focused on the opportunity that's presented to us. Now, of course, you got to be aware of the threats that are at hand and not let those just trample all over you. But if you keep the attention on the best opportunity for you, then it should be on shutting down that true threat, right? And not addressing the perceived threat. So, okay, so that's a little bit about focus and how you place your attention. It's basic, is the cup half empty or half full? And it's where you place your attention. Okay, so that's focus. And the third element is the story we tell ourselves. And so that's the story we create, or the meaning we associate with what our body's doing and where our attention is placed. You can set up any number of facts, right? And tell a story about those facts in a way that's empowering or disempowering, right? And so this story that we tell ourselves, it has a huge impact on your personal experience of the jiu-jitsu roles you have, right? Of the techniques you're training and what you're getting out of the techniques. You can go for a move, and when it doesn't work, when you hit friction, resistance, frustration, tension, anger, you can say, "Oh, that didn't work. This technique doesn't work. Jiu-jitsu is horrible," right? You can tell yourself that story, but it's not a true one. And it's more than that. It's unempowering, right? I shouldn't say more than that, but it's that story doesn't empower you on your journey. So what story is going to empower you and help you move in a positive direction towards reaching your goals, right? And then you're going to find the path faster that way. You can also run into the resistance when you're doing the technique and say, "Oh, that's interesting. I've never run into that before," or that's a bad angle. What's another angle I could approach, right? There you're entering the questions again. Well, what's another angle I could approach to improve this and make it better, more efficient, more productive? And that's going to enhance your journey. So these three elements, what you're doing with your body, the action, what you're focused on, and the story you're telling yourself about what you're focused on, they have an order of operation to them. Basically, everything grounds out in the action, right? So you want to address that thing first. And what you're doing with your body will tell you a lot about what your focus is and what your story is, right? And so I always look, and this do this at home as well, right? So you get caught up in things, and when you pay attention to this, it helps you become more aware of what you're aware of. If my wife and I have a spat about the dishes or something comes up, right? If when I'm going through that experience, if my brow gets furrowed and my breath starts getting short and erratic, then I know immediately, and I'm aware of that happening, right? So you got to be aware of it. Then as soon as that awareness comes to me, I can say, "Hey, that action is unempowering," right? And what's my focus and the story I'm telling myself that allows me the ability to act that way? Because it's going to be a disempowering story, and it's going to be focusing on the negative, right? Or you could also think of it this way: if the focus is more on myself and what I'm getting out of the situation, or if it's more on how I can utilize my resources to serve those around me or to serve the situation at hand, right? Then, like, to that degree, it's going to be unempowering or empowering. So you could think of it like this: if in jiu-jitsu terms, when you're going to apply the technique, the more you think about this technique isn't working for me, or I can't make this work, it starts to that's kind of a negative like format. So you can switch that and turn it into, how could I better utilize my resources to make this technique work, right? And in doing so, you kind of you flipped the focus and the meaning, and then your action will change, right? As a result of that as well. So you can approach it from both sides, but if you're feeling emotions from it, it starts with your action, right? What are you acting out in the world, and then shift that action first, and that will lead, as you shift that'll inform you of what your focus was and what the story you're telling yourself. That's a little bit about your state of being, right? You can't control how you feel, but you can control how you respond to it. And understanding your state of being gives you a more efficient use of your resources when handling life's problems and problems on the mat.
And if you like this content and you want to see more, please like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the mat.